Alright, y'all, you're gonna want to see this. I don't think anybody's gone into this the way I'm about to. It is time to expose Tractor Supply. What you see behind me, this is what workers see walking into the distribution center in Franklin, Kentucky. But it doesn't stop here. You might be thinking, oh, maybe this is just some woke person at that center who decided to do this. No, this is just tip of the iceberg. You ready for this? Fair warning, you're going to want to strap in because this is going to be a long video because we're going to expose it all the craziness that they have done that their customers have no clue about. This company is absolutely stupid for doing this. The vast majority, and I mean vast majority of their customer base is conservative, including myself. I have spent tens of thousands at Tractor Supply. First, here's some more of what awaits you at that distribution center if you work there. You might even be thinking, you know what, Robbie? Maybe this isn't a Tractor Supply center. Maybe this is somebody tricking you who sent you these photos to try to get you to put out a story that's not true. Well, no such luck. There's the lockers over there for Tractor Supply Corporate, and they've got some cute Juneteenth celebration stuff too up, along with the trans flags. And here's what Tractor Supply has on their team member TV. I want to state I take no pleasure in doing this. I am a Tennessean. I do not want to hurt a Tennessee company, but conservatives deserve to know that this is where their money's going, and it gets worse. There is more. By the way, this is their CEO. More on him later, but I think you get the picture here. Let's jump to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, they have a whole section about DEI on their website, and you've got to love that they put the stock ticker on it. I mean, that's kind of funny in a dark way. You know, I questioned if the CEO was truly involved with the wokeness of this company, but I think this DEI statement from him kind of says everything. So you can pause this video real quick and take a gander at that. Oh, and look, they have a DEI Inclusion Council. In fact, they're so committed to DEI that they release yearly reports on how many more minorities they're hiring that year. Tractor Supply is doing such a good job of being woke that the Human Rights Campaign has given them an A grade. What did they do to earn that A grade? Let me show you. Their inclusive benefits, where they score a perfect 50 out of 50, include providing equal health coverage for transgender individuals without exclusion from medically necessary care. So you might be thinking, maybe that doesn't include transitions. Well, according to the definition at the Human Rights Campaign website, yes, in fact, equal health coverage for transgender people means that they are paying for transitions. So yes, when you go buy stuff at Tractor Supply, apparently that's what you're paying for. They also received a perfect score in internal training and inclusive culture for providing 4 LGBTQ internal training elements, including intersectionality training, providing at least one LGBTQ plus inclusive data collection effort, and providing gender transition guidelines. The closest Tractor Supply has come to being held accountable for their woke behavior is when they were caught last year sponsoring a drag show in Waco where kids were exposed to this family-friendly drag show. You might be thinking maybe they learned their lesson after that. Maybe they stopped using the money from their conservative customers to fund this stuff that their customers are diametrically opposed to. But no. I looked, and they actually just sponsored Franklin Pride here where I live in Franklin, Tennessee. You wouldn't notice right away if you looked at this list of vendors because it just says TSC. It doesn't have the Tractor Supply logo anymore like it used to, but I was able to confirm it was them. On the map that attendees received, you can see the Tractor Supply logo very clearly at that table because that was their vendor booth right next to the trans flag. And yes, there were kids all over this event. Even the Washington Post admitted that Tractor Supply was selling the Queer Agenda card game, which has now been removed from their website. Their CEO Hal Lawton is so committed to DEI, inclusivity, and yes, climate change that he even wrote an op-ed about it in the Tennessean. Here's some of what's in it. He brags in it about how they've increased their ethnic diversity on their board and management executive committee, and that they've conducted unconscious bias training for over 40,000 team members. And to those 40,000, I am so sorry you had to be put through that, because I know you all would have rather been bit by 40,000 fire ants than sit through that training. This might be one of my favorite parts. In his woke op-ed, he ends with saying that they rallied around the theme of Stronger Together at Tractor Supply. Why do I know that saying, Stronger Together? Oh yeah, it was this lady's slogan. And her book. This wouldn't be a surprise for anybody who's seen his likes on X. This is one of the posts he liked, which was a donation call from Joe Biden before the 2020 election. And this is him back when he was an executive at Macy's, launching the Kenneth Cole Pride Collection. He's also very proud of offering 50 whole bucks to his employees to get vaccinated at work for COVID-19. And just so you know how he feels about unvaccinated people, let's go back to his likes on X. Do you remember when Allison Williams was forced to leave ESPN because she chose not to get the vaccine while she was pregnant? Well, let's take a look at some of Hal Lawton's likes that day. If you get COVID while you're pregnant and you are unvaccinated, it could do serious harm to you and your baby. Being pregnant puts you at much more serious risk. It's not worth it. My wife got pregnant, no problem, a couple months after getting the vaccine. I cannot understand how putting your family at risk is a good decision. Why did you feel the need to post this? Oh, I don't know, maybe because her civil liberties were being violated? Any real doctor would tell you to get vaccinated if yours didn't get a new one. Family first would mean she'd get the vaccine. Her husband, relatives, coworkers, they don't count as family. And last but not least, this is incredibly unfortunate. With this statement, you're promoting doubt in the vaccine. Hal also seems to like BLM. According to Google, Hal Lawton makes $11 million and owns almost $30 million in Tractor Supply stock. A real champion of the working class. So I don't know about y'all, but I've had enough. I've had enough of all this garbage. I do not want to fund this wokeness. I understand how hard it is to not buy things at Tractor Supply. I get it. I've got cattle, I've got chickens, I've got a bunch of dogs and bunnies and animals. I know how much stuff we need to get from Tractor Supply. But there are some things we can buy at other places. I encourage you to search online and let's start buying what we can at other places to show Tractor Supply who their customers are. And if you need to remind them who we are, I'm going to put some of their contact information in the caption. Reach out to them and let them know that we don't want to pay for this stuff anymore, period. We don't want our money going to woke causes. If he wants to spend his money on woke causes, he can spend some of that $11 million salary or his $30 million in stock on it, but he shouldn't be spending our money on it. It is child abuse what's being pushed on kids at these pride shows and drag shows. They're filled with nudity, sex toys, you name it, they've got it. Kids do not belong there. Remember, these are events that are literally about the type of sex people like to have. I'd say the same thing to straight people. Kids don't belong there. It's child abuse. Stop displaying sexual stuff to kids. And the fact that companies like this then turn around and celebrate it and shove it in the face of their employees who are morally opposed to this in the most righteous way possible is disgusting. These companies need to make changes. We've already seen from our backlash in the last year, we have changed the paradigm of the way many companies are working, but unfortunately, not at Tractor Supply, where apparently they're conservative employees and being inclusive to them doesn't matter. This is all that matters to them, is worshiping this ideology, and that's very clear from taking one look at the CEO. By the way, Hal, some of your employees are not real fond of the fact that you're having this event at your corporate office to highlight LGBTQ plus people and their allies. They think that that's not appropriate for the workplace. I kind of don't blame them. I think it's a little weird too. Can't we all just get back to a place where people keep their sex lives to themselves? That's it. I don't want to hear about anybody's sex life. Why do we make this a part of the workplace? It should not be a part of the workplace at all. Your workplace is not your sex place, okay? Nobody cares about your sex life at work. We don't want to know. So now everybody, remind Tractor Supply who their customers actually are. In the caption, there's going to be some ways to contact Tractor Supply. I encourage everybody to do it in a very respectful way, but to demand change and let them know that you are going to be leaving as a customer. They're going to understand very quickly who their customers are and going to make the changes necessary, and they're going to need to make a lot of changes.